Hello, good morning, good evening, good afternoon, wherever your time zone may be. We know we're here at Speed Gaming 2 for tonight's Into the Past Daily Race, and it's one of my favorites tonight. It is Ambrosia. Hi, I'm Zeruvian here on commentary. My friend Zeke joining me here tonight. Zeke, want to talk about Ambrosia, or do you want to talk about the runners first?
Well, I think we should at least introduce ourselves. I think we're going to be off here shortly. So, today we've got Chemo, Lanabean, Breadcoon, and Specs here on the restream today. And yeah, we're playing Ambrosia. So, you know standard, Ruby?
Yeah, it's standards like the way the game's supposed to be. It's like, before Randomizer had open, there was this thing called standard. It acts kind of like the vanilla game. You go through the Hyrule Castle escape, save the Princess Zelda, cry a little bit, slow, and hope you find bombs so you can get the 3 checks in the back of escape. That's kind of what we're doing here, but...
Dark World.
Yeah, Uncle will give us some idea where they're at.
The first Ambrosia trick is Uncle gives us hints.
And for our next trick...
an Ether Coin. The second trick is what happened to the dungeon prizes? To the dungeon boss drops.
Well, you see, first off, as we have 2 runners giving us... Was that 1, 2, 3 crystals? We have a 3 crystal light world, which is pretty good until you consider the fact that all of your bosses, no matter what dungeon they happen to be in, pendant or crystal, are going to have an item. A non-dungeon item, guaranteed.
Which does let you plan ahead on some places, but also takes a lot of value out of a potential early dip of, say, Fire Rodless Skull. Those are gloves.
Gloves and bombs, so not worried about the whole rigmarole of trying to figure out what prize packs we have available to see if the back of escape is just available for us at all. Instead, it's just straight available, and with the sword, this is just an NMG escape now.
Well, I mean, yeah. That's the other thing. We start with a sword.
Yeah, but do you see what you don't start with, Zeke? Uncle can only give us 1 item.
We should bring back the fighter sword and shield item.
We should. Alright, so yes, you get to have a gander at the checks in Hyrule Castle. We'll have a guaranteed key between here. If it's not here, it'll be in Dark Cross, or at least somewhere between there and the basement. And of course, it's just here. Why not? And there's a map, and everything else will be a drop for us.
This is just a test of how good you are at your escape, because really, escape is pretty simple, and it gives us a lot of time to talk about what one can expect from one of these seeds.
So, well, we're going to see some item checks here. Let's talk about that boots hint for a moment. Again, Uncle said Dark World. Now, usually, if it's somewhere in the Light World or a specific dungeon, he'll give a less cryptic answer. Because we have an upgraded vanilla item. That is a strawberry red boomerang. Or cherry, depending on your fruit preference.
I don't know. I'd call it Rocky Road.
That Rocky Road is not a fruit, Zeke.
No.
Anyway.
But it's a good ice cream flavor.
Sigh. Anyway. So if it's on Death Mountain in the Light World, it will actually say Death Mountain. But there is no such discriminator for Dark World. So when it says that the boots are in the Dark World, that means anywhere that is a Dark World check. That means it could be on Dark Death Mountain. It could be in the Pyramid. I'm pretty sure the Smith, when you pick him up, is considered a Dark World location until he's brought back home. Stuff like that.
I can never remember if Smith and Purple Chest count as Dark World or not. I will admit. But we did have a question of what is the worst place the boots can really be in the Dark World? Probably Pyramid Fairy.
Pyramid Fairy. The worst thing you could ever have to do is... No.
Spike Cave.
Spike Cave can come into play a lot sooner than Pyramid Fairy, though. There's a lot of ways to cheese Spike Cave. You can't cheese Pyramid Fairy. I was going to say Catfish, but Catfish is easy to get to, too, especially if you're doing Pyramid Fairy. So, no, it's 100% Catfish, final answer. especially if they're required. All right, in the sweepstakes of getting through Hyrule Castle the fastest, right now we have Bread in the lead by a nose. Then we have a fast blue hedgehog, and not too far behind them, Specky Specs, and coming up just a little bit short, but getting some extra bombs for her efforts, Lanabean. Specky also has that 4-bomb drop.
Who knew a Wolf Link was faster than Sonic the Hedgehog? Especially when the rats do. Those rats do a lot of things that I see in my NMG runs.
So how's Key Rat doing, Zeke?
Oh, that's a 4-bomb stun.
Oh, okay, yeah, that's actually a lot better than what I thought was going on. That boomerang already paying for itself in spades, and that map in the Dark Cross means everything else from here is an item.
Which does mean we won't be seeing anybody walk past the Sanctuary chest today.
What do you feel about early gloves, Zeke?
My first thought is, do I want to just go up the mountain and save the old man?
You know, some players will do that, too. You're going to have to go up the mountain eventually. Whether or not it's in logic right off the bat is entirely... Well, help...
Whoa.
Now wait a minute.
Whoa.
Now I don't think you go up the mountain when you pull a bow and a hammer.
No, I make my way directly to Palace of Darkness.
This isn't HMG. You can't do that by way of mountain.
Right. That is the thing.
Don't have starting boots.
And also, that's illegal.
This is illegal, you know. It is, in fact, no major glitches rules that we run on most of these daily races. You do see the occasional glitch race, like we did last Monday when we played HMG for President's Day. And wouldn't you know, the mountain's just in logic. Of course it is.
As you and I always ask when we get Flute in the escape sequence, did somebody roll a jet seed?
Chimo looks to be having a gander at the... I don't think you go up the Old Man Rescue here with that flute. We're going to look at what is sitting on the Lumberjack Ledge. Red also wants a piece of the Lumberjack Ledge.
I was going to say, it looks like Bread is also... Specky is not going that way.
Oh no, and I like this better, I think. Knowing the boots are just in the Dark World anyway, and really not having any pointer to come look at this. Well, I would get absolutely toasted on this seed, wouldn't I?
You and I both would.
That's a mirror sitting on Lumberjack, and that's some information
Maybe it's
that
a
our
Pendant Swamp.
top 2 runners have, and our bottom 2 do not. We'll probably be seeing Aghanim down on this seed. There is a 3 in 7 chance of Pendant Swamp here.
That would also require nothing being locked by the mirror elsewhere.
Yeah.
And it would also require the book.
Yeah, you'd have to have book access to Desert, as everyone just picks up their penny. Now, you still need the boots, so we're going to have Dark World access before that mirror is in play at all.
Well, I mean look at
not
what we need for Dark World access right now. It consists entirely of a shiny round orb.
True. A shiny round orb, which could be on Pyramid, you never know. Could be a lamp and a sword, too.
The hookshot actually makes the mirror on Lumberjack a lot less threatening if it's Pendant Swamp.
Considerably less, and I'll tell you why I still feel like Pendant Swamp would be a bad thing here. Because deciding that you don't want that mirror under any circumstances whatsoever does kind of put you in last locate swamp mode. And if your progression, you know, like your ice rod, happens to be there, that's probably not good. I do like this hook shot. In conjunction with the flute and the hammer, we can now clear Tower of Hera. Might end up leaving an item, but, you know, at this early stage of the game, it's a crystal to get on the board, and I don't think anyone will complain about that.
Not a whole lot here in the well.
mean, outside of that hookshot, not a whole lot here in Kakariko at all.
Well, the
We
hookshot
do
makes up
have,
for the other 9 things we've pulled.
We do have a lot of money, which is, at the very least, helpful in and of itself. That 300 will solve all of our money problems in the early game, with the exception of Zora.
And Specs is doing something I have been known to forget.
See if we get everyone. Okay, we have 4 Y-item flutes on the screen. I don't think anyone is going to forget to let loose the goose.
I can't even count on one hand how many times I've done that.
Is it because you don't have hands?
That is correct.
Okay. Yeah, I have the same problem. Question in chat is, you want Pearl on Zora? Who wants Moon Pearl on Zora?
Speed Gaming Chat.
Of course Speed Gaming Chat is. But was that a clip as the bomb was exploding? That was kind of slick. That's like super... Oh boy. Lana giving me something to smile about. Buying bombs is chemo. We also saw Specky buy bombs. Won't be buying arrows, though.
Well, Chemo ran out of bombs.
Yeah, that means Chemo doesn't know the stun prize's force. Which, sometimes just having that boomerang is a blessing just to have it. And, you know, some HP you won't be able to see for a little while. Chemo is opting to flute away from South Cac, and you know what? I think I like that.
And you just got burned again.
Ooh. Okay, well, hey chat, where's our Moon Pearl tonight?
If you say Pyramid Ledge, I don't like you anymore.
You know, I'm gonna say vanilla. Chat asking what was race game? Well, it's some beautiful golden gauntlets that replaced the silver ones we got in the front of Escape. We have mitts at the 11-minute mark. We have the hammer. We have the hook shot. We don't have much else yet, but we have plenty to talk about already. Checkerboard Pearl. Checkerboard cannot have Pearl unless we can get that mirror on Lumberjack. Which lends to where are the boots?
That would be boots on Pyramid Ledge.
Yes, it would.
No.
Yes.
I'm saying no. I don't want that.
Unfortunately, no. The mirror is not logical yet, and probably won't be for a while. I'm still saying Merle's just on Death Mountain somewhere. And we're going to see Eastern Palace from Chemo.
Early bow.
Yeah, early bow makes it a pretty easy call to make. It is a crystal that we need to take care of. Armos Knights will guarantee having an item, which makes the 50-50 a lot easier if the big key's in the front and you don't have any dungeon items going to the big key chest. However, not in logic unless you have a lamp or a fire rod in that case.
I do like Bread taking advantage of the full magic bar and ether medallion to just make short work with Moldorms here.
Yeah, I love it when people remember, hey, many Moldorms die to ether, and ether's a pretty quick animation.
We see a lot of praise for Bombos and being able to kill everything, but the one thing that is noted with Bombos is the animation is actually quite long.
You know, even Quake is a lot slower, so I would prefer to use Quake to, you know, if you're in a situation where you want to transform a few things, like you've got Dead Rocks on the screen, or Gibdos to stun, you would pull out the Quake medallion. But there's one enemy Quake will kill, as long as they're not kind of hopped off the ice there, and that's the Pengator.
Right, we have our bottom 2 runners have gone to Iceheart Cave to receive a piece of heart.
There is the big key on the map chest of Eastern Palace, so there is that situation where you might see an item out of logic in the big key spot. Unless the next 2 checks are items, then Chemo knows he's done with Eastern and can just go kill Armos.
Yeah, and Bread's on the mountain. Which, admittedly, if Bread finds the Moon Pearl up here, that's a lot of mountain to clear.
Yes, it is. There's at least 20 checks on this mountain, regardless of where that moon pearl ends. There's the lamp, too. It's just sitting in Eastern, so now we know Armos is guaranteed in logic.
Can you see the face I'm making? No.
No.
Can you picture it anyways?
No, I can taste it, though. And that should be a tell to go straight to Armos Knights, and that he does. Alright, so Lamp doesn't really do too much for us, although it does make the Hera play fully logical.
Yeah. That could hurt Bread if the Moon Pearl is behind a vanilla big key.
I did call it to be a vanilla, didn't I? If it's vanilla big key for big chest. Oof. It would be the one item outside of Moldorm in that case, too. Yuck. Everyone else going through Eastern Palace, we're going to see some 7 checks in this Paradox Cave from one Bread. Ooh.
Starting with my cane.
First boss sighting of the run. It's the Armos Knights.
Ooh, just slightly off. That was Bombos Battalion I just saw.
There's also our first bottle up here, so we can now think about the Lazy Kid as well. And the Moon Pearl's just in Paradox. Of course it is.
Okay. So, now you go to Hera.
That is a spicy decision from one Breadcoon.
I'm a little surprised.
I kind of get it. Now you're playing for density. And
No. Now you're playing for footwear.
Thusly you're playing for density. The Dark World could be anywhere in the Dark World. That includes Hookshot Cave, Super Bunny Cave. Well, you got a crystal on Swamp, so this is an Aga Seed.
You don't need an ice rod. You don't need a fire rod.
Is this a rodless seed? You know, I said that last night while playing Casual Boots, and it turns out that both rods were required for Go Mode on Trinex, so don't count your chickens.
I know that, but it's still a case of it's worth noting.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that means the fire rod is guaranteed to block one item.
This is true.
There is the Half Magic in Hype Cave, and that's about it. I think Bread made this decision to go to Hype Cave solely because of density. He's going to all the uncomfortable spots to look for the boots. Long before basically anything else. Now we're going into Village of Outcasts. Oh, we're going to get this money first. Right, so that's a crystal each for Chemo, Specs, and Lana in that order. Chemo already back on the mountain. Well, finally on the mountain, rather, excuse me. Having a look at what's going on here. We'll get his Moon Pearl in just a moment.
And Bread has made his way into Village Outcasts.
I'm a little curious as to what prompts you to do this over... You're going to have to do the mountain regardless, right? Because Hera's a crystal.
I don't know if Bread knows that Dark Death Mountain counts as Dark World, not Death Mountain.
Yeah,
I'm fairly certain it's his first time on Ambrosia.
It could be. It could be. Question from chat was Potty Crystal. We saw a map check from Bread, and I'm pretty sure Pod was a crystal. We have Skullwoods and TR are pendants. Where was the green pendant?
Right here on the same screen as Bread.
Oh, Thieves Town. Got it. We might see a fake flipper into ice play from anybody that's not Chemo, because he doesn't have the mitts. Although the flippers will be required anyway, so I don't think that's actually a very good play here.
That depends on if you find anything behind the flippers.
True, but you still need the flippers to finish Swamp, so if you find your flippers for Go somehow, then... I mean, it kind of stands to reason there. That would feel pretty good to go mode through a otherwise beatable dungeon, clearable dungeon if the flippers show up.
That was Piece of Heart.
So Kimo is going to give us our look at Tower of Hera. Bread did not take the breadsmith with him, namesake and all.
He also didn't do C-Shape House.
That is an interesting one that I see a lot of runners kind of, if they plan on ever coming down to Thieves Town and then going up into North Dark World, that's something I would consider doing.
I see what he's doing.
Oh, okay, yeah,
He's
I
going
get this.
back.
So he did Stumpy because he's going to grab the smith and probably die front of Skull.
He's not touching a single dungeon.
Oh, this is...
He's also not...
Yeah. If you're not going into dungeons, you grab that, Froggy. Well, it is, in fact, a big key in its vanilla location, but the Moon Pearl will not be. Alright, Lana is about to find her Moon Pearl upstairs. And everyone's got this Cane of Samaria, too. It's a pretty nice thing to have. Kimo setting up for the Philly pot. Was that Philly or Jakaris, actually?
I can't tell. Sick Kid giving us not much.
Sounds about right.
Saves all the good stuff for giving to the ladder and not for giving to us.
That sauce, though. That milk, though. All right, Lana Bean is going to go have a gander at Tower of Hera.
Why is that vanilla?
Why is that a vanilla sword? Indeed. I'm never going to complain about getting a sword off the Smiths, but at the same time, I would like to complain about a lot of things that this randomizer does, so, it was a great hammer shot. Just barely outside of getting hit, and yet still within the hitbox to, vertical knock down the tail on Moldorm for 20 bucks. But our second crystal for Kimo.
And we're going into Skull Woods.
Now, I'm going to ask two people that are hanging out in the background, but believe me, they're as busy as Zeke and I are. Give a hand to Lady Laura Linda and Maidwalk Herd on tracking tonight. Did we see both items out of Hera?
I'm going to go with no, since we opened Compass Chest.
That's true. Oh, yeah. Yeah, Lana's going to do the same thing. She's going to do the latest version of the little Hera pot there. Laura Linda confirming there is, in fact, an item in the big chest. We might need to go get that later. Hopefully not.
I really hope it's not.
Not what?
In the big chest, anything.
Oh, I mean, I think everyone hopes it's not in the big chest. So we know any of these mirror lock checks will not have the boots, and probably not likely have progression either. And Kimo cannot continue on the mountain here, so he gets to save and quit. I really got to learn this new Hera pot method. Have you learned it yet, Zeke?
Absolutely not. I refuse.
Why?
Because I already know two, and if I try to remember another, I will forget them all.
I know 3, and I can only perform one of them with any degree of efficiency. Raiden pot is what I'm being told it's called in chat. Or Lord Raiden, I believe, is the person that discovered it. Alright, so we already know this hype cave is a half magic out of 10.
There's a heart container.
It's a half magic out of 10.
There was a heart container.
Quiet you. So, kind of a blessing in disguise for Kimo is not having those myths, unless the boots are just over here in, like, Hookshot Cave or something. Getting the news. By the way, we didn't talk about our 5-6. Pod and Meyer. Meyer's a vanilla 6 on this seed.
Well, I guess that means if it's Quake, it won't be in Pyramid Fairy.
Yeah, I think that actually kills Pyramid Fairy.
Nope.
Okay, flippers.
Flippers.
and that's really it.
Nope.
Ice Rod? No, not Ice Rod.
The boot.
Oh no. Don't say those words to me. That feels dirty, Zeke.
It does.
The boots on Pyramid Fairy gives me the creepy crawlies.
The only reason Boots on Pyramid Fairy come minus is because we already have the hook shot to get us in there.
Oh, sigh. Yeah, that's true. It's so true. Of course, we're going to see some checks we haven't seen yet. Well, both from Brett and from Lana here. Lana is going to give us Stark Death Mountain. We'll also get to see which medallion is required for TR.
If they look.
Actually, she'll look. You want to know just how valuable that Quake medallion is when you don't have it. Okay, the boots are probably just here in Super Bunny. Nope, it's the silvers.
The silvers are, though.
Did you find the silvers in the Dark World?
I still prefer when you have managed to get a bolus seed.
Yeah, when Ganon gets the exclusive opportunity to call you a dingus.
Mm-hmm.
But you look at this. It's Ether for TR. Imagine.
Imagine caring about TR. Because I don't.
Imagine Boots in Spike Cave. That would be something we can't currently obtain.
Yeah,
wait, there's a blue potion in the bottle. So we can actually obtain it.
It's not there.
Lana deciding she's not interested in Spike Cave. Oh, Chemo, you get to pay the toll every time you get hit,
Oh, trust me, he's aware.
So we got Brad looking at Meyer's shed, and this is literally one way. Although Meyer's clearable right now. And a 5/6. And well, we don't worry about medallions at all. Brad Kuhn. You can
Brad's
you can
going for the
Meyer.
boots. He's going up to Pyramid Fairy Catfish.
You mean Pyramid Catfish? Catfish
That's what
Fairy?
I said.
You said Pyramid Fairy Catfish. If he was going to Pyramid Fairy, he would have cleared Meyer. That would have been the efficient thing to do. No, he's going up Dark Death Mountain, and you can't really blame him. This is the most dense set of checks that we have here.
Yeah, but you would have done them before now.
Yeah, shoutouts to the Celeste MSU. Celeste is a game in general.
Celeste is just fantastic. I've never played it. Why does this always happen when you and I are on comms? I have to admit to not playing games.
Well, maybe you should just not admit anything. Innocent until proven guilty. That's how this works, right? Oh, good. We can just run to Helma.
No, we can slowly saunter to Helma.
Ah, we can sashay our way to Helma. We can peach bomber our way to Helma. Hacha! Bread's gonna open up Turtle Rock, and with no Fire Rod, there's really not a lot you can do in this Pendant Turtle Rock, but it could actually lead to something we need. The flippers. That's
Basically,
really
flippers.
Where is this lamp that Bread don't gots? It is in Eastern Palace, the only dungeon. Actually, he hasn't done any dungeons. Bread is hardcore just going for these boots.
And he's not going to get them because we're down to, 3 Dark World spots.
Yeah, there's really no... Well, hold the phone here for a second.
Well, that's blue. I want to say that was blue because he's death warping and not continuing.
Oh, it was red. And I don't know why you would even think about leaving Turtle Rock. Bread? That is the Fire Rod in the compass chest of Turtle Rock. I think it's the compass chest, right? Is that the map chest?
That's the compass chest.
That is the compass chest.
The map chest actually isn't called map chest in the spoiler log or anything.
No, is it not? Is it called Crystal Roller Room? It's not. It's
called Roller Room Left.
Cue Benny Hill's theme going on over here as Chemo being chased around by these hard hat beetles is definitely not a comfortable situation to be in.
I didn't think that MSU was approved for restream.
Oh, it's not. I think Brett is definitely going for the boots, going ham for the boots, and Lana's got the right idea. She's going into Mire. She's going into Mire with a fighter sword.
Okay.
We have silvers, that's right.
Silvers.
And now Brett has silvers, too.
There are 4... I like this debate on do I do Spike Cave?
Just go do Spike Cave. You have a blue potion. It's gonna come into logic anyway. Just do Spike Cave. It's considered Dark World. We get to see some Arya strats pulled out by Lana being here in Mire 2. Ooh, don't hug those Wizrobes. They all hurt almost as much as the Big Pig himself.
And
almost, isn't half.
They do the same amount of damage as, well, half of Ganon is a lot. But
I mean,
they do the same amount of damage as a, well, Cold Stare Puff, but they're certainly a lot less fluffy looking.
Chad is once again asking for your continued support in voting flippers for pedestal.
No. I refuse.
I see how it is. Nice Godmire for Lana Bean.
It's the law. If you go into Mire and you're looking for things, big keys in the first 2 checks.
See, Bread does not... Bread looked at the mirror, right? Lana did not. The top 2 runners looked at Lumberjack. By the way, if you're just joining us 31 minutes into the seed, which is relatively early on, like maybe a third of the way through your average fast play, got mirror on Lumberjack Ledge.
In Crystal Swamp.
Yeah, so our runners are looking for the boots in Ambrosia. And right now, the boots can only be on the pyramid, in the pyramid, or on Catfish, as far as we're aware. Or
in Spike Cave.
We agreed Spike Cave doesn't exist, right?
Oh, no. The runners agreed Spike Cave doesn't exist.
It's like a gentle player's agreement that Spike Cave doesn't exist, and no one checks Spike Cave until it's their last location. The silence is telling.
Sorry, I'm trying to figure out if Lana found an item yet in Misery Mire of just taking advantage of Godmire.
I think she just said, well, it's a Godmire, and Viddy will be guaranteeing an item, so I should just go take care of Viddy. Viddy could just have a key, too. So, no, he can't. We're playing
This
Ambrosia.
is Ambrosia, dear.
We're playing Ambrosia. Oh, I could just treat it like it's casual boots, as he proceeds to open up everything with one item already, and then goes to Moldorm. That was me 2 years ago. Don't be me.
Hi, I full dug a Skull Woods with one item from map chest, looking for a second item.
Sigh.
This was all me 2 years ago.
Lana walks in at basically Oko range, but Silvers kind of make Vitreous a done deal. And Vitreous says, "Aw, I love you. Valentine's Day was 2 weeks ago, my friend." Chemo? What? Chemo. You don't have boots, and the fire sword can't extend that well. It's fighter sword. It's the same length.
He's extending it.
Does it extend the hitbox?
It does.
Even fighter sword does?
I'm the one who plays RMG here. Yes, it does.
TIL. I mean, it's only been 3 years of us playing, right?
Not as much as, say, Mash Sword, but it does extend it some, making it still easier.
Oh, that just robbed. Robbed, I'm telling you. That Samaria block. Ugh. Alright, so Lana with the big key. We're going to do big chest first. Big surprise here. Big.
I mean, if it's just here, it's faster than going around the rest of the dungeon.
That bubblegum mask on Helma.
It's wonderful, isn't it?
It's great. I love it. And 1 silver will take care of the job for Specky. Okay. I get that this is actually good for Chemo, but walking out of pod is actually pretty slow. He might actually get rewarded with the boots here in just a moment, but he's also looking for the myths.
He is.
Specs leaving his 3rd crystal, Palace of Darkness, and will now... this is probably going to be a Flute to Mire thing going on here, I think. If you got silvers, you just go into Mire, right?
Usually. And we're going to finally find out what's here on the pyramid. It's not Titan's Mitts.
Yeah, no Mire for Specs. It is the boots on pyramid. So,
So now we have the boots on pyramid, we can get the Moon Pearl out of checkerboard. That's how this works, right?
No.
That's what we were talking about earlier, right?
The 2nd Moon Pearl? Where's Chemo going to find his 3rd glove? This isn't ludicrous speed. This isn't a Plando. What are you talking about? Obviously, the flippers are on Catfish, right?
I'm trying to remember where the sword was that Bread has.
That sword was in a place in a way that makes me have amnesia. Yeah, it's vanilla.
How did Chemo not get hit?
A wizard did it.
He was practically inside the hitbox of that Octorok.
Wait, how does that... I have a clip of that not working. That on the edge of the Ring of Stone that Chemo just did.
I just had that happen to me last week. This game is a masterfully programmed game with no bugs or glitches.
It's not 32 years old or anything, and neither am I. Alright, Chemo knows exactly what he wants to do, and he can't, because he doesn't have a Master Sword.
I thought for a moment he was going to pull out Shock Block for us.
I mean... No! Now, wait a minute. We haven't seen another sword yet, either. It's the only player who knows where a sword is Bread, and that sword happens to be vanilla. Okay. Specky is going to get his crystal out of Mire. Lana is probably going to pod. Oh, Lana's actually... I love it when you get the save quit while your hearts are refilling, and your hearts just continue to refill into the save quit. Yeah, this is going to be a pod play for Lana Bean, and then probably pod into a save quit for Pyramid Fairy, into Boots. Yeah, what if there's progression in Pyramid Fairy, too?
I don't know.
So I'm pretty sure this is actually a last location mitts for Chemo.
It's not.
No?
Skullwoods. He did not check front of Skullwoods. He did not check front of Thieves Town.
All right. He dodged the 2 traps. Got it. Did anyone go into the front of Skullwoods? I mean, the only player with the fire rod is Bread, so maybe he would consider it.
I won't say Bread did the first. I think Bread did what I've been calling the Malmo route.
Yeah, where you get the you do the right-hand side check. I think that's the map chest.
Correct.
And if that's a key, you clear out the front and just call dibs on the rest for later.
As I am, you bail.
Yeah.
And as Fire Rod, you kill Mothula.
Yeah, if it's Fire Rod, you kill Moth. I think in this mode in particular, if you get the Fire Rod, I think you might push Moth, even though it's a pendant. So you might be more inclined to do that after the mirror, or with after the mirror and with a book, is what I should say. So Chemo, now having the mitts, is going to start poking around at places and things to do. Like this Mire, for example. Is our 5-6?
I mean, I'm going to be interested in seeing this Vitreous from Chemo.
He doesn't have the Quake medallion. Where was Quake?
Right here.
Under the mat. Hi, my name's Zaru, and who are you? When will Lana check Lumberjack for the mirror? I feel like our bottom two runners might actually end up last locating the mirror.
I could see it.
It's very easy to be like, hey, Lumberjack doesn't exist. Who cares about Lumberjack? We have all these things we can do with the mitts and the cane of Samaria, and the flippers are probably blocked by the mirror. And, well, flippers are probably in Pyramid Fairy, actually. Ooh, that is a good place for confronting yourself.
Good music.
Alright, so we have... Honestly, Chemo's kind of in the dungeon lead right now. He's tied with Specs for the exact same clears. But he's also the only player with boots, so things are going to get a lot faster for him.
And, compared to Specs, he has one other tiny, insignificant thing. Lumberjack knowledge.
Oh, yeah, that's kind of a thing. You know, that... Again, Bread and Chemo had a look at the mirror sitting on the Lumberjack ledge, and the other two couldn't see it. They weren't close enough to see their reflection. You know, I like this from both Lana and Chemo here, going through Mire and getting the God Mire and the small key and saying, yeah, I'll just kill Viddy and come back in. Or just kill Viddy and call it good, in some cases.
I am very interested to see how this Vitreous fight goes from Chemo.
Yeah, he doesn't have the silvers either, because again, those were mitts blocked in Super Bunny Cave on the mountain. And, well, he only just got his mitts a couple minutes ago.
He also is a little short on pointy sticks.
Yeah, that's true. We might see an NMG fight from Chemo here.
Did we just see a go to the fire rod that we don't have?
Yeah, I think he had even armed Spooky. You know, we saw an ether in Turtle Room, or Turtle Basement from Lana Bean. Once again, proving ether is the superior medallion.
Okay, I think I know why Bread did Mire boss last. That fire rod is still Bread's only fire source.
Oh, right, because the lamp is just sitting in Eastern's compass chest. And that's really not on his list of things to do right now. Especially since Eastern's one of those dungeons you can save a little bit of time by... a
little?
Chemo, you have powder.
There's one upstairs.
Yeah, there's a powder upstairs. Chemo, we have powder at home. Lana, we have our 5-6 crystals. Now go open the Pyramid Fairy and get your boots that aren't on Pyramid Fairy.
How many bombs?
Opting for bomb strats. I'm a little surprised, although we are still in green mail. So
we also only have a fighter sword.
That's true. Oh, that's right. You know, to this point, Bread's still the only player to get that sword. Zeke, this is a question better suited for you than for me. If you pick up Fire Rod with Spooky armed, does it remain armed? I think it's because it's a set in Scylla value, right?
It should.
Right. I mean, because the collection of a chest item doesn't change your altitude value.
I'm having a little hard time watching this fight on Chemo's side because I'm scared.
He'll be fine. He just needs to not get hit.
If you don't get hit, you don't die.
That's true. Specs is going to show the power of Argentum. Or if you're playing non-progressive bows, you say to the game, you will give me an egg, and therefore the silver arrows appear. Sorry. You can tell we've been doing it in our pastime. 9? 10. It was that 17 hammer hits to knock down Vitreous?
16.
16? For some reason I always thought it rounded up. I think it's because of Helma.
Helma's Mask is one of the very few cases of it takes an odd number of hits.
Chat says, don't apologize. You've got great chemistry. This Meyer Crystal for Chemo extending his, well, not really lead because Specs actually overtook him here. Although he does have the boots, and that is considerable. The boots and the knowledge of where that mirror is proving to be a pretty sizable advantage here. Now, the thing is, Brett finds the boots, he's going to beeline up the tower because he has a Master Sword. And I don't think I would put doing a Dark Tower above Breadcone. With the Fire Rod, that's really not too bad anyway.
It hadn't occurred to me Specs hadn't done Hype Cave yet.
I'm actually kind of surprised. Lana will get her boots in about a minute. Lana, no.
No.
Lana, no! Oh, she's going to try to dupe it on the screen transition. She got it.
That screen transition dupe is actually the easy way.
That's an easy one.
Chemo showing us the rarely seen upgrade fairy.
I think that's because Chemo is expecting to go into Ice Palace here and having just a fighter sword to work with. The extra bombs will be nice for Pen Gators that you can use Quake for.
It also had to do with the fact that Chemo used every last scrap of resource on Vitreous.
Right, so I mean, buying everything back up is great. And for Lana Bean, this is gonna have a feeling. I think everyone who comes up here and gets their... Brett is right behind them, too, so you know what he's got on his mind, right?
The fact that he wishes he had that mirror so he could go to Castle Tower to get his mirror.
Yeah, it's... Is that like waking up in the morning and needing your coffee to order your coffee? Or needing your coffee to make your coffee? Pyramid Fairy is bust, by the way. Is this how this works? I mean, you have a hook shot. Hook shot alone is faster. Aw. What do I know? He's been playing the game longer than I have. Honestly, I don't know that bomb strat. So if I don't have a hook shot, I don't have Quake, and I don't have a sword, I'm screwed.
Don't do what I saw one of our friends do.
Which is...
Attempt to do it with Samaria by itself.
Ooh. Oh. No, thank you.
This was inverted, for the record.
That's fair. I mean, inverted is absolutely the best way to play this randomizer. So we went from one person having gloves. Well, I mean, we went from one person missing gloves to everyone having boots. Did Brett literally open up the Pyramid Fairy, get the items out of Pyramid Fairy, and then get the boots? No, he opened Pyramid Fairy and walked over. Okay, that makes sense. Is there a sword in ice? Let's find out.
There's never a sword in Ice Palace.
Unless you're playing cross keys.
Then there's two swords in Ice Palace.
And that's when there's 3 swords at the top of GT. And a bow behind Ice Armos.
And flippers on Magic Bat.
Or, you know, your first glove on Magic Bat. Behind the flippers.
I'm a little surprised that Brett's actually taking time to do Catfish.
I mean, with the boots, it's really not that bad of a check. Although,
it's the only time you can do it.
Now, wait a minute. I would rather do it... By the way, this is a... You're not going to find flippers in ice. Nice shovel. This was a fake flipper into ice by Chemo. Which is what I was alluding that someone could do earlier. Oh, where in the world would this cape be if a sword doesn't show up for these runners? I feel like that's a hard required Bombo's tablet. Get out of here. That requires a sword.
I'm aware. That's why I said it.
I think this... Bread? Oh, he's gonna... Well, okay then.
What is happening on Brett's screen?
I don't know, but it's not great. You know what I think it was? He's actually buying out to lose. 3 blues, actually. No. No, 2 blues and a red? I'm intrigued. Alright, so we know it's not going to be flippers on Cold Stare. Oh my gosh, Chemo, please. Alright, he's fine.
He has more voltage.
Yeah, speaking of... high voltage, everybody. Unfortunately, speed gaming is not sponsored by Pepsi. Yet. Give them a few years. Could you imagine if Feasel signed a deal with Pepsi? Wait a minute. Oh no. No, Brett, no! You've done this already! Brett, please.
Brett, it's standard.
Brett. Alright, do you want to say it or do I? When we get him in here for an interview later.
We're not saying words.
Oh, no, I'm saying it. I gotta. Unless something else goes wrong. Lana giving us the front of Skullwoods. Honestly, when you're looking for flippers, this is not where I would look. Specs, on the other hand, is giving us Thieves Town. Again, if you're looking for flippers, this is probably where I would look, because it's in logic coming into the Dark World. Watch flippers just sitting in Mimic Cave or something. Oh my god. Did I even say that? I didn't say that.
Why were you and I thinking the same place?
Flippers on Laser Bridge in chat. I like Mimic Cave worse, actually. Oh, Chemo is looking for that vanilla sword, and it's just not there, man. Not this one, anyway. You gotta follow your mitts and do the smith chain, which sucks. Because that sword blocks the mirror you want to do the smith chain. Is that a fighter shield in Skullwoods? That appears to be the case, which means the other item is just, obviously, it's sitting on Moth, but there is an item in the front of Skullwoods, and Lana can say no more. Lana... still doing Vu. Think she goes into Thieves Town too, like Specs?
Probably. The density's there at this point. Because in both of their heads, TR's not really accessible because we don't have a red stick.
We do have... oh, the fire rod. Not the other red stick. The red ice rod.
We don't have the red ice rod.
We don't have the blue
We don't have the magic rod and the book. How many different games can we turn this into?
You sunk my battleship, sir. I think chat's catching on to just how bad I think this seed could get. I'm over here saying, I think they're in Mimic Cave. Imagine having to go to Smiths, mirrorless Smiths, to get your mirror by way of a vanilla sword on the Smith turn-in. To go to TR with your mirror post-Aga 1 to get your flippers for Go out of Mimic Cave, which requires you to go into the front of TR looking for exactly Fire Rod.
This is Flippers for Go, isn't it?
It is, in fact, a Flippers Go mode situation for all of our runners here. Is Flippers on Ped dead yet, or still possible? Well, you see, for Flippers on Ped to be dead, you would have to have Flippers. Ice Rod could literally be out there somewhere, and if it is, then Pedestal is very much alive. Oh?
Look at where Chemo's going.
Chemo is going...
okay, Dark Death Mountain, because he hasn't been up here yet. But...
wait a minute. He may opt to do Hera Big Chest first. No, he's going to open
I'm going to go with no on that one.
You know, that's fine. It's completely fair, and he might go in, but he's going to do Super Bunny and get his silvers first, and Hookshot Cave and Cry. Which sounds like the exact opposite of Netflix and Chill. There was, in fact, a sword. The flippers are on Pendant Blind. Oh, at 53 minutes and 40 seconds, we're in no mode. Specky needs to find his mirror.
Specky found a sword.
Mm-hmm. And Bread is out of the Aga 1 fight. He is going to get his mirror.
When do these runners do pendant blind if they haven't gone in?
I mean, Lana's doing
When
it
do
now.
top two
Lana
runners do
is
blind?
Lana's going to blind right now. She is currently coming down from the attic. She will get her sword in the big chest and probably be like, huh. I mean, for Specs and Lana Bean, this is all that they really had left to do outside of the very uncomfortable TR dive.
Well, Flippers tells them, go to Ice Palace.
Well, unfortunately, Ice Palace won't have anything other than a very angry cold stare waiting. But that's where Specs is headed. Oh, we might see a full clear of swamp. No, we can't, because the mirror is behind Aga 1. Lol. Oh god, imagine a book, though. I think book's actually in GT or Desert at this point.
Book in Desert.
Such a bad feeling for that sword. I don't like that sword where it is.
I mean, at least it means you get your tempered sword if you picked up your blacksmith.
Oh, Brett, our first runner on tonight's stream, or today's stream if it's daytime for you, to get his mirror.
But like I said, how long does it take you to get to pendant blind?
It might be a while. Especially if you get the fire rod in this TR and the ice rod in this TR, you might start thinking, hey, it could be pedestal. Huh?
What was that laugh?
If I found out what that laugh was, I wouldn't be here telling you about it. Well, Lana's going to get her flippers. Okay, cool. It's a nice looking icebreaker from Specky. And suddenly Spike Cave. Do you see the... I get, finding the Cane of Berna is great. Just at all. And then immediately turning around and doing the item dash with it in the most satisfying room to Berna dash is cool. Brad having a peek at what's here. We're going to see Desert for the first time this run.
I mean, always be clearing crystals.
Oh, Lana's going for Smiths.
Lana's looking for a mirror in the worst place possible.
And you know what? She's not going to find it, but she is going to find a tempered sword.
So, what are your thoughts on Vanilla Big Key for Turtle Rock, Pendant Turtle Rock?
Thanks. I hate it.
Because that's what Fire Rod and Berna in Turtle Rock so far mean. Unless we're suddenly playing in Verdant and get to Laser Bridge for our big key.
Gross. How about that shovel? Do you think there's anything on that shovel? Think there's anything on that green pendant? Guess what? Saha loves you. Sound like such a clown tonight. I think I'm kind of glad I'm not playing this one.
I mean, we've already seen you get burned like 3 times by the seat by watching.
I say things that I like doesn't mean things that I would necessarily do in a racing situation. Nice Boots Lock Desert. Cough. You already knew that. Unless the book just happens to be abound somewhere that we just haven't seen yet. Could
by
be
somewhere, do you mean Spike Cave or Turtle Rock?
On Laser Bridge? Book on Laser Bridge. Let's go.
Book on Trinex.
Emo is looking for a sword. He's looking for exactly one sword, and that's about it.
And unfortunately, there's only one of those left in the pool.
And he is opting to skip the big chest, which is very interesting here. I don't skip big chests when my big key is vanilla. You might know something we don't. Chemo? Chemo? Yeah?
I like that hesitate.
That is why I don't skip the big chest when the big key is vanilla.
That hesitation was... You could feel it.
Quietly, Specs has picked up his 5th crystal. by dispatching a cold stare. And I think we might see Lana head in that direction very shortly.
You can
here.
hook
That is
to
a
that?
Link's house. Yes. Have you not seen? You know, what tournament was that taught me that? Hey, look, a key. There was a stream. I was part of a restream volunteer crew where I was impressed, surprised, and otherwise amazed. I think might have been in chat. I think it was the No Logic tournament where I was like, wait, you can hook to that? And I've been doing it ever since. Just not with any level of consistency, because obviously if I have an extra key in Key Sanity, I'd rather dash into the door.
Ah, yes, the Go Mode Key Sanity Desert Dreams situation.
Ah, yes, having the Desert Small Key and not having it block progression. By the way, speaking of progression, there's been a lot of it here in the past hour, but you should probably progress these players' streams. Give that exclam R in chat, somebody, please.
Nice segue.
Make sure you give these four runners a follow. Chemo, Bread Coon, Lana Bean, and Specky Specs, in and amongst a number of players in our daily this evening or morning, depending on where you happen to be. In sum, we do have, as the Discord overlay is just too big, 10 players. This is only 40% of our overall player base tonight.
Oh, it's actually going to take Brett a while to go to Thieves. He has crystals to clear.
Yeah, he's got Eastern to do. He's got Desert, Hera. Oh, he skipped Hera. Yuck. Yeah, Brett is not going to be seeing his flippers for a little bit. Meanwhile, Chemo still sitting on one sword. Everyone else has found at least one more sword. He might be going into Thieves Town here. Might be going to the front of Skull first with that fire rod. What if sword 4 is on Moth?
If Chemo's going Thieves' way, Chemo might be our first runner in Go Mode by virtue of needing a sword.
Imagine sword. Wait, is this the fabled post-hour VU check in an open standard seed? Imagine VU skipping. Imagine being your inner Mr. T and saying, I pity the VU.
Okay, you said that, and my brain was like, what does that have to do with Mr. Ed?
Absolutely nothing, which is what this seed is about to become. What is VOO? VOO, or Village of Outcasts, the acronym that we refer to for the dark version of Kakariko Village in this game. That was eloquent. Alright, Chemo on the right path. He's going to do Pegs, grab the Smith, save, quit, flute in, get his Master Sword, and that will put him in Go -1.
It would benefit him more to do Steve's Town than Smith's.
I agree, but if he does that, he'll probably end up on a Master Sword Silverless track, and that appears to be what he is going to do. This is going to be Sea House into Thieves.
Really, this seat's been all over the place for us to call.
There's been 4 fantastically varied routes. We're going to see the shovel check from Specs. Except we're not stumpy.
It's Dark World.
That's just the Mountain Dew voltage I've been drinking. Okay. But Ruby, why are you drinking Mountain Dew at 11 p.m. Central?
Because it's delicious?
Fun. And because tonight was my Friday. That's why we're here.
I thought you were here because I asked nicely.
You didn't have to ask nicely. Chat's asking why Lana's... Oh, Lana, respect the shovel, please. Lana is looking for the mirror. The mirror, as we know, is on the lumberjack ledge. Brett already has it. Chemo knows that it's there, and he's looking for a sword so he can go get it. Specs and Lana Bean never looked.
So long as Chemo doesn't save and quit from the Master Sword in Thieves Town Big Chest.
If you're at Thieves Town Big Chest, you know there's an item on the boss, you kill the boss. Because you can't leave on a sword for the mirror and bank that your flippers are behind the mirror. You need them flippers to make that mirror actually usable. Especially since, in the case of Chemo, he's already done Ice Palace. Oh, perfect dash line for the God Pixel through the Heckway in Thieves Town. That always looks good.
It's not easy.
It's really not. It looks really cool when you get it, especially that swaggy. Bread is now headed up to Tower of Hera, which he can get to quite handily because he has the mirror.
Bread will not go to Ice Palace, though.
No, Bread is going. Yeah, Bread's going to follow the logic here, and that's going to help him out quite considerably. We might see a TR die before we see a Flipperless Ice or a Thieves Town from Bread. Because the only other dungeon he has left to clear is going to be Swamp. Like this alone will put him on 5 crystals. Alrighty, in just a moment here, Chemo is going to get his Master Sword. He'll be so happy to see it.
Okay, well, let's be completely honest. The sword locations are terrible.
We don't even know where the last one is.
Which makes it terrible.
No, Specs! Specs has decided that he wanted to be a football player and tackles the guard caller on the east side of Kakariko. There's a sword for Chemo, and in approximately a minute, maybe a minute and a half, Chemo is going to be in happy spirits.
How long does it take a blind fight to happen?
You got to get there first, then you got to wait for the little short animation. Then you wait for Blind to explode, because apparently he's made of unobtainium. Okay, our trackers are paying a little bit more attention than we are. Lady Laura Linda has informed us that there's a sword in Desert that we didn't know about, apparently. Which makes sense, as Bread has a temper we didn't account for.
Oh.
And
so it's spear locked.
Yeah, go figure.
Speaking of Bread, we seem to have lost his footage. We'll see if we can get him back soon.
And in the meantime, at 1:06:40, Chemo's our first runner to enter Gomo, but does he realize it?
Probably.
Why would you pick up the green pendant then?
Because you don't have the mirror.
Oh. I mean, you could just save and quit on the pendant drop, you know. Alright, that is a, well, I know what I need to do kind of run from Chemo. Straight across, right up to the tower. Here we go. Lana is giving us a visit to the big fish.
Is this our first Zora?
This is our first Zora, and we know it's a scam. We do not need what the Zora has. Especially since it's only a nickel. Okay, we're being told we're wrong. We're bad. We've only got 2 eyes and we need 8. Specs already looked at Zora. I think Specs is actually headed to TR.
I think Lana's right behind.
That's so unfortunate, dude. So from the jaws of defeat, Chemo last locates a Met, finds everything he needs to do to finish this seed, and suddenly he's just finishing this tower climb and go-moding go-moding desert and swamp from going into GT.
Who knew that the secret to winning the seed was not finding a single sword?
Hey, Speed Gaming, daily operators, when's our next swordless? Let's see here. Is it on the schedule? The schedule's put out all the way to April. And nowhere does it say the word swordless.
So all is as it should be.
But it refused. because we're getting, left and right, we're being yelled at by our trackers. Once again, let's give a hand or two to Lady Laura Linda and Maid Walk Herd, two lovely ladies tracking for us tonight.
Fantastic people. Please be careful, Chemo. Okay, that's something we haven't found yet. Where's the armor?
You don't need armor. You're just a glass cannon.
Yes, but I want to turn my Leafeon Sprite orange.
Yes, and I want Frosty Frills, but that just doesn't happen, Remember when it was green light, yellow light, red light? The original version of my Sprite? Chemo with the wizard zapping a princess out of existence here. And Lana is now in TR. Specs apparently hasn't gone up to the Hera Big Chest, so he is going to do that now, after the tile room.
It makes sense.
Yeah, he did tile room first. So this is 10 arrows.
Mirror.
Right, you do this now, and then you just kind of drop back through. You're still looking for mirror. You don't know where the mirror is, so you're willing to grasp at straws, no matter what length they are, to try to find it. And that's where Lumberjack just kind of rears its ugly head.
They're not that ugly, Ruby. I know they're not the most pleasing sprites to look at.
The Lumberjacks are not good sprites, and their hitboxes are absolutely abysmal. Change my mind. You could be like 2/3 of a Link sprite south of one, hit the A button, and you'll still talk to them.
That just goes to show they're lonely. They'll talk to anybody going by.
Now wait a minute. Brett is in TR looking for flippers, by the way. Oof. Oh gosh, Brett could pull pedestal. Oh no.
With what blue fire rod?
The one that's on Laser Bridge. Except we've seen Laser Bridge, haven't we?
It's not there. Is it in Mimic Cave then?
It could be. It would be the worst thing possible for Brett if it's a Mimic Cave. Because at that point, you just route into Moth into Pedestal.
I'd argue.
Because you're not going to go into Pendant Thieves looking for the flippers, are you?
But if you get an Ice Rod and a Gambling Ped, you absolutely go to Pendant Blind before Pendant Moth.
Oh.
By the way, Ruby, you need all 3 pendants to get your...
I forgot Thieves was a pendant, okay? Alright, it's going to be official here in about a few seconds. Chemo will be our first runner, having obtained Go Mode right here at about 1:12:11. Or 1:12:12. Take your pick. That means all he's got left to do is a run through a desert and a swamp. Oh, this seat is a trap.
I'd argue it's 3 traps in a trench coat.
Are you telling me I'm 3 kobolds in a trench coat?
But there are absolutely like 3 traps in the seat.
I heard Charizard was 3 Dittos in a trench coat. Who rolled this? Who do you think, Ken?
Professor Renderer is known for his seeds in this game.
No. I've been told that he has changed his name. We now refer to him as Professor DirectX 12.
That's an in our community joke.
It doesn't matter. I'm making it public. Henceforth known as Professor DirectX 12. Just kidding, Professor Renderer. We love you. Listen, he's the one who made the joke. I'm allowed to perpetuate it, right?
No.
Specs, please be careful. Okay, here is Swamp Palace for Chemo. And unfortunately, we're not going to see much of Swamp Palace. Where was that sword in Desert? Is it just on the path, or is it just not happening for Chemo here?
Oh. We'll find out, won't we?
Lana is done with Laser Bridge, and she is out.
And now she's having that moment of, what is left?
Oh yeah, this is that moment. You stare at your tracker, you go, I'm sorry, I have how many green squares?
The answer at this point is Lana's doing Spike Cave, actually.
Well, I mean, Kena Burna was in Turtle Rock, so you would do Spike Cave immediately following. Yeah, that tracks.
Also on the table is a fluttery friend of ours.
We have seen Magic Bat not have anything, though.
The other fluttery friend of ours.
Oh, the Mothula. Oh, God, don't. I mean, oh, no. Well, we don't have the Ice Rod yet. What if Ice Rod's on Moth? I hate it.
I tapped up how many traps are in Trench Coat.
Ice Rod is absolutely in TR. Change my mind. It's just 10 arrows on the pedestal.
Not.
It is not? Why wouldn't it be? Not TR. GT.
Okay, better.
Okay. Imagine a God Swamp. Guess what? Not on this seed. He was looking for a sword, I think, and he's not going to find one.
Can you blame him?
Master Sword Silvers is actually my least favorite Ganon fight. There's something unwieldy about trying to stun Ganon to silver him with a Master Sword. I'm sorry, is this the fabled 60 or 75-minute Ice Rod Cave check from Bread?
Yeah.
Yeah, Lana is running directly to the fluttery friend.
Can you blame her?
Yes,
Fire Rod was the last known progression.
I guess, do you consider Fire Rod progression on the seed?
When you're this close to empty of things to do, yes. And Chemo is showing the world why you don't shoot downwards. Shoot vertically at Argus. So that's 6 crystals for Chemo.
I'm just going to come out here and say I don't think it's fair to ever assume that any runner would ever forfeit because of an item location. As Chad is suggesting that you might see Lana forfeit if she sees Mira on Lumberjack, I'm like, at this point, it's not even that hard to climb the tower. You're over-equipped for it.
Just 5 rupees there.
We have apparently had a chemo drop. Oh, here he is. Okay. He's in desert. Cool.
So where is that sword?
Yeah, we're indeed. Do you think he opens looking for that sword? Or does he go with the big key and bank on a sword in GT at this point that won't be there? This actually might not be a skippable sword if it's just sitting here on the right side.
Is it on Landmo?
It could also be on Landmo. It also might be in the big chest. If it's in the big chest, we're not getting it. It's probably right here. It's right here. That's cool. That's actually great for Chemo.
That is fantastic for Chemo.
Yeah, Chemo's going to be really happy. Brett is about to be very unhappy. Because there's nothing sitting here.
Specs froze en route to the...
Yeah, so Specs is now in no mode and needs to go up Castle Tower. He will get his mirror. And Lana is headed in that direction too.
I think Specs and Lana just last located Lumberjack Ledge.
At some point, you just run out of things to do. And it feels bad, but at the same time, it's like... There are 2 ways to open in this mode, and one of them says go up to Lumberjack and get your information earlier. The other one says never check Lumberjack until it's late. Because when the boots are in the Dark World, you're not thinking your progression is going to be on Lumberjack. Well, it's a way of kind of like, it's sanity checking yourself too. Oh, Specs, you might have wanted to pick up that magic over there, just to have it. You're sanity checking yourself too, because if you go up Castle Tower and it's nothing on the Lumberjack, then you have to know that you haven't skipped something. Like, we know from the outside looking in that these runners didn't skip anything. They don't know that. By the way, Chemo, first runner with 7 crystals on stream.
I believe there's a little game that likes to get played here.
So, pull out your dice bag, whether that's like a Crown Royal bag, or like some other fancy D&D style pouch of some sort, and spill them all out, and whatever your D6 rolls on, that's where you're guessing the GT Big Key is. No. 1 to 22, anybody? Whole rational integers. The Ganon's Tower Big Key is going to be somewhere. The question is where? Cooper saying, yes, my D6 came up with a 17, and on what plane of existence do you live again?
Funny, my D6 roll a 13.
I couldn't find my D6. So I'm typically... I get snake eyes, but then I question my existence because I am not a snake. Brett is apparently frozen in Spike Cave. We'll probably get him back in a moment. I know sometimes streams like to do that. Now he's headed to Moth. That's honestly fair. That means he's going to last locate Blind. He'll also end up with 4 swords, probably.
With no Ice Rod, there's no reason to put off Mothula.
That's true.
There is a rational part of my brain that just went, what does that have to do with anything?
I mean, the Ice
Even
Rod?
though I know the answer.
You're not going to mirror back and check Ped, because you have no reason to, 1, pull Ped, 2, because you can't pull Ped without killing Thieves anyway. You would do Thieves before Moth if you know Thieves is the answer, but you do Moth before Thieves if Fire Rod's your last known outlier progression, I guess I would say. Oh, here's Ganon's Tower for Chemo, and we're going to see Hope Room first.
And in the right chest, a small key.
And in the left chest...
Oh,
good. And with that small key, you take the option. I think the option here is go right, without question, don't pass go, do not collect 200 rupees.
I didn't even know rupees came in 200 denominators in this game.
Not in this game, anyway. In what game do they come in 200s?
The 3D ones, actually.
Oh,
Golden rupees in the 3D ones are 200.
Listen, don't collect it. Lana. Holding the sword out, going behind Aga. And I didn't know that hitbox would actually cause you to bounce off of Aga, but it did.
Today I learned. Bread? Oh.
No.
Wait, bread?
What is happening?
Bread?
Did Bread mistrack a crystal? What, where? Oh, is Bread going for Hero Big Chest? Oh, no. Did Bread get the Ice Rod is the question being asked in chat. We haven't seen the Ice Rod yet. My hypothesis is the Ice Rod is in GT.
At this point, where else can it be? The swamp?
Ew, don't say that.
That's the only other place it could be.
I mean, he did. Are we going to get a look at your menu, Bread? Oh, he's going up to... Oh, no. Oh, no. Now, hold on. Oh, boy. I can confirm by looking at his tracker on his stream, he does have the Ice Rod.
Where?
Oh, no. Okay, Lana, about to find her mirror after Specs has already gotten his. Lana and Specs kind of just step for step here with each other. That's going to put each of them in go mode, actually. I mean, Bread doesn't have Flipper, so it's not going to be in Swamp. Is it? It's not in. It's not in Mire. No. Where? Oh no! Is it in Graveyard Ledge? Spike Cave. We have in fact seen Spike Cave. Chemo showed us Spike Cave.
Checkerboard?
Oh no! It could very well be Checkerboard. Checkerboard was a piece of heart. Help us out here, chat. Where did Bread see the ice rod? By the way, that big key, I didn't see where it was.
Bottom left rando room. We did
It's
2,
ice
6,
rod.
7, 11, 12, 13, 14.
We have a 14. The first 14 I see in chat goes to Peter999D2K. Well done. You win a lifetime supply of rando seeds generated only by Sahabot or your local ALTTPR.com. I said that very backwards, though. All right, well, rando lower left for the big key. It's kind of easy to make a 14 unless you're just going hope hard left. We're gonna see what's on Trinex. Could be the book. I hope it's not the book.
With the way I've been running GT lately, I'd have gotten an 18.
Yeah, same, actually. Well, at the very least, this is a comfortable Trinex battle for Bread. It's not going to have what he's looking for. And actually, this just feels bad. It's going to be a classic full clear for Bread. Well, maybe a quasi full clear, because you're not going to have everything out of. Obviously, he's not gone to ice because flippers are his go, and he's not gone to swamp either because he can't.
Because flippers are his go.
Exactly, but he is going to have all the prizes.
Oops.
Oops. This is oh. Have I been on commentary for an Oops All Dungeons before? You were wondering where the mail upgrades were, Zeke.
They exist.
Yeah, they sure do. Chemo quietly making his way through the top of the tower. He's now going up to Wizards 2. The two most satisfying rooms of the game to which you had a Cane of Samaria in modes that don't require it. Or seeds that don't require it in the case of 5, 6, 7 all being pendants.
Don't remind me of the cross keys where I'd had to do it with only a fighter sword.
Should I remind you about my Challenge Cup series with Chelsea X Lynn a few years ago?
No.
Oh, okay. Because we have that, actually. Samaria Go, or just Bomb Jumper, hover right side forehead. We have apparently, now, it's going in cycles, right? Now we've lost Lana's feed for a little bit. It's only been about 10 seconds or so, though. We'll get it back. Bread's, on the other hand, a little bit longer than that.
They've been taking turns on who's not connected.
Whose connection is it anyway?
Unfortunately, the connections are not made up, and they do happen to matter.
The packets do matter. Where the IPs are made up and the pings don't matter. Oof. No fluffs from Chemo. He's going straight in. Got Aga 2 to fight. Geometry Wizard that he is. Lana's got her crystal from Argus. That is going to be her 6th. She needs to run to Desert now. Looks like we're trying to restart Bread's feed, because we got a black screen of doom.
Not bad on these Geometry Wars featuring Aghanim.
Okay, Bread is in fact in Thieves Town.
You mean he's in his last location?
You mean he's getting exactly what he needs in the place he wants to go the least? Nice 4-cycle from Chemo.
Couple of uncooperative positions, but...
It's Specky. This is actually his 7th crystal going through Swamp Palace here. So he's going to be able to mirror and just save quit to the mountain.
Remember to mirror.
Oh, God. Just the Agassi just feels bad every time you save quit from the Dark World. You go, oh, wait a minute. Ganon, we have food at home.
Food at home. Picture
Great
mushroom.
setup. Oh, good. Great setup for the 1-in-1 from Chemo. Those dash
Beautiful
pokes
dash
in.
pokes,
That
too.
was great. That was really good.
Exquisite fight.
Yeah, that's the show of someone who knows exactly how to set that up with those. Which is saying a lot coming from me, because I have no idea what I'm doing. I can't dash poke to save my life. I've actually either died or fallen trying to do it.
And Bread is on the blind.
You know what the best part about this Ganon fight is? The silver
the
arrows
battle's
part.
already
the
over?
immediate... Yeah, that's pretty much over. All he's got to do is set up the triple. That's going to be a double in one. That's going to be a double in one because he's going to revert back to the top row. And bang. There it is. Let's see the 1x3 bridge spawning for Chemo. The flippers in the hands of Breadcoon. But we have our first finisher on this restream tonight. And that is Chemo.
So get your GGs in chat for Chemo. We have 7 crystals for Specky.
Chemo finishing on our restream, first overall on the restream, but third in the race room. Official time of 1:30:39 on our GTT. GG.
And 3 silver arrows for Lana brings down Lanmo, which will be her 7th crystal. And Bread's going for Cold Start.
Yeah, he's got a cold and then a... I'm actually curious as to why you would do swamp or ice into swamp instead of swamp into ice. There's not a big difference, but So Specs is on his way to Ganon's Tower right now. Lana not too far behind. So let's give a quick recap here of the finishers thus far. We did mention Chemo is third in our race room tonight. First overall is Sailor Nep. Nep actually shot the route, and they finish. She finishes with a 124.46. Then you have BSJ 72380 with a 125.42. And right behind Chemo is Hitman 1382 in 4th place. Like an entire Ganon fanfare behind. Not too far at all. So
Like
let's
14
see.
seconds.
Yeah. On the ladder, that would be considered a snipe by Structural Mike's statistics sheet.
My brand's like statistical Mike. Close enough.
Statistical indeed.
And Specs is our second runner on restream into the Ganon Tower.
Does Specs do Hope left, or does he do DM, do you think? And it's a DM route. Oof.
Now, don't get your...
I mean...
He might be rando rushing.
I never rule out Rando Rush. I'm an advocate of Rando Rush on Restream. If you're playing a daily race. If you're playing a tournament race, don't ever do it.
Yeah, I know, you got mad at me the one time I did.
Did you win?
No.
Case in point.
But I wouldn't have won anyway.
Yeah, no Hope hard left is just, it's fragile. It's so fragile, because if it's in Hope room, you're in stitches.
Alright, it's the end round.
Okay. Lana could go Hope hard left, but she'll probably do Hope option right. What'd I say? Yeah, it's the most exquisite route to get a key in Hope room and go right. If you don't get a key, you just go hard left. So Chemo is marked as finished. We'll see if he wants to join us for an interview, because we haven't heard from him yet. Bread, having obtained his 6th crystal, needs to go through a go mode swamp yet. So, Lana and Specs getting their second shield mere seconds from each other. Emphasis on the mere. It's
a fire
we don't
shield.
see. Yeah.
And this MSU is fantastic. Wow.
Remind me to ask Specs what he's using. And
Tyrion,
that
I
is
believe.
the sound of our restream first overall, or first finisher joining us here in commentary. Let's hear some GGs again.
GG's Chemo.
Thanks.
Okay, first question. So about those mitts.
Yeah, I don't know. I wasted a bomb in an escape, not really thinking, and then I didn't have one for the well or something, and I was kind of just annoyed about all of that. So my routing in CAC was just a little bit weird, and I was like, yeah, I'll just come back here. Probably gonna need boots anyways, because I saw that mirror, so I'll check the library when I have them instead.
Yeah, that's
And
you did
maybe do it
exactly
then.
what I think in the situation that you are in. I very much like doing the flute out of CAC kind of play, and not having mitts tends to be a lot nicer than having mitts in a lot of situations, because mitts just give
Yeah.
you way too much to look at.
Yeah, I don't think missing those hurt me at all, probably. If anything, I might have got to boots faster, because I was less tempted to go the other way. Although I guess the big thing that cost me was finding Fire Rod and not going to Thieves Down.
So
but you
I
had to
wanted
deep dive Thieves Down too, so I don't know.
So I wanted to ask you about that specifically. You were probably looking for a sword for so long in that seed, just because, from our perspective, the top two runners, yourself and Brad, you two looked at the Lumberjack Ledge, and the bottom two, in Lana and Specs, they did not. So their go mode ended up being the mirror. And for
Yeah.
Brad, his go mode has actually ended up being the flippers because of where they were on blind. At some point, you ended up diving into Thieves. Was there a thought as to whether that would have been sooner or later based on how the progression was playing out?
I mean, I kept looking at Village of Outcasts and Thieves and being like, everything is over there. That's like all my checks that are left. Except for, once I got the mitts, Death Mountain. And Death Mountain was like, everybody's probably gotten the stuff up there because they had the mitts probably sooner. But I was like, I don't know. It's this stupid Ambrosia mode. Like, Thieves is not even good, probably. So I just chose the mountain. I was looking for a sword and mitt and flippers, and that was it. And sword would have been mirror, so I was like, pretty much thinking flippers were going to be on mirror. So I don't know. It was a little bit of a coin toss. When I finally got there, I really didn't have anything left. I thought about doing Skull Woods first, just because of Fire Rod being in kind of an awful spot. But I don't know, Ambrosia, it's like hard to go there.
Yeah, especially
when
if
it's pendant.
Skullwoods and Ambrosia it's a feeling all of its own. Because if you look in the front for one item, 90% of the time it's poison, and the one time that you go in there when you're feeling like it's the last thing you have left, it's exactly what you needed.
Yeah, it was at that point like Village Outcast was the best by far because just 3 checks, and then it was Thieves, even though they're kind of slow 4 checks. So I was just like, and then even though I had Fire Rod, probably I would have went to Skulls after that. So it was just whether I did it first or not. But
so not to steal the thunder from Chemo, but we do have a blind ped pull in the restream here. Brett is in go mode, has picked up his flippers off of blind, but because it was his third pendant, he decided to pull the pet anyway. So you got to give a little bit of credit to Brett for just having a bit of showmanship there at the very end.
Yeah, for sure.
We do have a lead change in GT. Specs was ahead of Lana for a little bit there, but Lana has executed her way ahead of Specs by about half of a room.
Nice.
So that battle for second on Restream is very much heating up, and it could come down to this Mold Orm and Aga 2 here. So one more thing, Chemo. What do you think about that Fire Rod sitting in TR? I mean, come on.
When I found that, I was like, well, if what I need is in TR, like I probably just won, and by a lot. So you just had to continue there. I think no matter what. I don't know. Maybe people went up there before and had access to TR. I wasn't sure where the medallions were that I found, but it just was like you might not even dip. So you find that fire out, you gotta go in. It felt like that had to be the thing. Like Ambrosia is just throws the worst stuff at you. Like having mirror on Lumberjack.
Ooh,
just
mirror on Lumberjack though. Boots in Dark World, mirror on Lumberjack. Let's go.
For the record, I think that the medallion to enter TR was actually in Link's house.
Yeah, the Ether Medallion
that's
is the
possible.
first item you open up in this seed.
Okay. Well then it wasn't as sure. Like maybe
Yeah,
people dipped
it's like-
TR when they did Hookshot Cave probably much earlier than me. But
And silvers were nice. That was it was a scary but also pretty nice Vitreous fight that you showed us.
it was okay. It was slow. I should have got arrows before I went in or something. I don't know. Like I really just went to Mire because I found the mitts and I wanted to check Mire Shed, and then I realized I could clear Mire, so I was like, well, I'm not gonna leave now.
So
Especially no mirror or anything.
I thought for sure you were gonna give us the NMG, but with a Master Sword. Not with the Master Sword. You had a Fighter Sword.
I had Fighter Swords.
That sword situation. You found 2 of the swords that were out there. Yeah, the one in Desert that you just can't skip. That's nice. The one in Thieves that you just won't skip because you're looking for flippers. The last sword is vanilla.
Where's the
On Smith's.
on Smith's? Oh, yeah.
Actually, Brad was the first runner and the only runner for quite some time to show us that sword on Smith's.
Yeah.
Brad
well,
is also showing us Tile Room right now, by the way.
I
on
think
the
Fred's
resume.
just having fun at this point, waiting
You-
for the
you
other
know-
two to finish.
He's done the Oops All dungeons. He is here just having the time of his life, getting the map out of Tile Room. Let's go.
Yeah, unfortunately that Smith sword doesn't save you anything really, except for
No.
maybe some easier fights.
Actually, I
would've-
think that Smith sword hurt Brad.
I think
Yeah.
so too, because you get the mirror and you're just
Right.
pushing everything you can do with the mirror, and you're not interested in Thieves at all. By the way, that is Lana's kill shot on Ganon. Oh my god, no, Specky! Oh,
My heart.
gosh! Could you possibly get any closer to Ganon? Possibly. Let's see some GGs in chat for Lana Bean. And right behind her, let's see some GGs in chat for Specky Specs.
Yeah, GG's to both runners. That was a close race to watch between those two.
Woo, hold on, let me catch my breath for a moment here.
Hello, Lana.
Lumberjack sucks.
+1. GG though.
GG,
Well done.
everybody.
That was you and Specs were pretty much foot for foot after Lumberjack. The entire after Chemo finished and Bread is in GT. Oh, he's gone. Has he gone full right? See?
He went full right. Tile room included. This man is my hero.
Brett is having the time of his life on Restream right now. Chemo finishes 3rd overall. You two were actually you stole the show, even though we were interviewing Chemo at the time. It was so close. We had a lead change in GT and everything.
The other armor upgrades in here. Brett has both male upgrades. Where was that ice rod, though?
What are armor upgrades?
There's one on Trinex.
Where's
other one is-
Ice Rod?
The ice rod, I'm being told from chat, actually it was our friend Cooper Fox lets us know, that the ice rod was in Graveyard Ledge.
Ah,
And Bread was the first person on Restream to get his Master Sword. In fact, Bread had 2 swords when everyone else had 1. Chemo only had 1 glove at the time. And we were trying to figure out, okay, what's going to put this mirror into play since we have a Crystal Swamp? Well, Bread gets his mirror, and that puts him on the wildest goose chase across time and space. Because while everyone else finds their flippers, he's digging everywhere except Thievestown.
Oh my gosh, if I check Lumberjack and otherwise do the exact same thing I did up until Thievestown, I finish 120 or less.
Oh, absolutely. Hey! Joining us here in chat, we also have a Specky Specs. GG.
GG Specs.
GG's.
Yeah, like we were telling Lan, that was a very close race between you and Lana on Restream.
Lumberjack got me good. Sorry, Ruby God.
I've actually already lost my thought. I'm in the ladder pre-race room right now, waiting for this to finish, because I actually might be able to get in. But no, there was a point where the top 2 runners, those being Chemo and Bread on a Restream overlay, had a gander at Lumberjack early, so they both knew about the mirror. You and Specs were pretty much step for step for a lot of the early to mid game, and that really heated up once you both went into Castle Tower about the same time.
Yeah, I mean, the only thing on my mind most of the time was like, oh, here, basement's gonna kill me. Oh no, it's gonna kill me. And then it didn't even really occur to me until later. I was like, yeah, Lumberjack is kind of a thing.
You know, Lana,
Thievestown.
Lana friend, can't kill you if it does exist.
Yeah.
Just putting that out there. Yeah.
I was like, if Ice Road wasn't here, basement, that would have just destroyed me. I would have gone for Ped before Lumberjack.
We saw Ped.
Oh, Bread. Oh my gosh.
Bread went out of his way. And you know what? You gotta give the man some props for having fun at the end. He's probably watching the race room. He knows, oh, well, I screwed up somewhere. Especially if you go to blind and you just get your flippers. Can we talk about that? Can we talk about flippers on Pendant Blind? When do you go to blind in this kind of seed?
When it's the highest density you've got. Like, I went there. Yeah, I went there and then it's like, well, Ice Palace, great. And then Flippers Check's cool. And then after that I was like, oh my gosh, I've got no good choices.
Oh god, not getting that mirror is both a blessing and a curse, because you just don't know what that mirror is going to block until you're down to go minus mirror, and nothing to look at but Castle Tower.
Yeah, and here's the thing. I probably would have still gone Thievestown before doing a bunch of mirror check. Because there's just something about that stupid pendant dungeon.
I'll be honest, I might have had those flippers like early because I have this thing for Green Pendant Thieves Town. I can't keep my hands off of it.
Well, hold on. I got to make sure I'm reading the commentary on this stream correctly. It says Zeruvian, and that second name does not say Adel or Salt there. So, who are you and what have you done with Zeke?
Again, I can't keep my hands out of Green Pendant Thieves Town. I don't care if it's the other colors, but Green Pendant is the winning pendant color.
Oh my
There's
gosh,
the book.
there's a book!
Oh my god, the book exists? It's just like last night's casual boots race that I had on the ladder. It's like, my biggest fear is that the book shows up. Well, my biggest hope is that my opponent finds the book. The book's just in GT, so it's like, oh, okay.
This seed, though, you're like, crystal dungeons are a bait. There was nothing. There was a lamp and Easter. That was the best thing you got from any dungeon, I'm pretty sure. Fire Rod, first check TR, who cares?
Fire Rod for TR. Fire Rod in TR. I care, but not enough. Yeah, I have to commend Bread his restraint for not diving into TR with the Fire Rod. He bailed out. He hard bailed out.
I shoulda. But the density was far too much. Like, I didn't know about Lumberjack. Nothing I can do.
So not to be like, prod the bear. Specs, you're here, right? We can't hear you. GG.
Oh, sorry, I forgot. I'm on push to talk.
Oh no!
Forgot.
Hold on,
My bad.
wait, I haven't heard from Specs this entire interview.
I meant to say GG's to everyone earlier, and yeah, Lumberjack. I intentionally skipped it after when I did bonk walks and Keens 2. I'm like, I could check Lumberjack right now, but I'm gonna take a gamble and try to skip that to save time to give myself a bit of a slight edge somewhere in the seed, and yeah, that did not pay off.
Me either.
Alright, so as Bread gets ready to fall into Ganon, do we have any other thoughts that we want to share on this one? I see some collection rates that are all over the place. 143, 158, 162.
Lumberjack is evil. Not as evil as Shields, though.
Did Brett just hover over the Ganon hole and then drop from the other side?
I believe that he would, and I believe that he did, even though I was too busy renaming my ladder seed. Again, Bread, at this point, you said it yourself, Zeke, he's just having fun right now. Bread is an executional juggernaut. He may have been a Mentor Tournament alumnus of summer 2022, but oh my god, this guy is really good. So, this one just wild goose chased him, as can happen with any seed.
Was Chimo the only one who checked Lumberjack, or you said Bread did too?
No,
Bread
Kimo
did
and Bread
too.
both did. Kimo was late to his first glove. Bread was the first person with a Master Sword, so things just got really crazy from there.
Brett bailed on the mountain with the Moon Pearl and went directly to the Dark World looking for the boots.
Bread
As
wanted
I
his go
suspect-
fast.
I suspected people would, so I'm like, you know what? Who cares? I'll just rat stuff in with Crystal Dungeon, and then I end up doing, Mire, and then Pod, and then Pyramid Fray. Oh, look, boots.
I did the exact same thing, Lon. I'm like, those boots could be anywhere. Might as well just stick to the normal game plan, do the crystal dungeons, and find those boots when you find those boots.
GG's, Bread.
Yeah, get your GGs in chat for Breadcoon. Breadcoon had a time on this seed. It was fun to watch. I believe that puts Bread in 9th overall.
Bread in 9th overall, and right behind Bread is our last finisher, Nira Lightshine, with a 152.14. But let's get GGs in chat for all 10 runners tonight. That was a seed, and it had traps, and it had jokes, and you know what? I'd play it again.
Hello, Bread. GGs.
Yeah, things kind of went catastrophic, so I said, screw it. It's just memeing the seed.
Yo,
Like,
shout outs
screw
to
it.
hovering the Ganon hole, man. Shout outs. Go get it.
GG's, Bread.
Yeah, I knew it was over. It's like, whatever. Just have fun with it, I guess.
So, I will talk about it, Bread.
Mm-hmm. Talk about what?
The thing that actually hurt you the most on the seed, because I know you want to know where things went wrong early.
I mean, considering
the
how I
sword.
opened... What, say again?
You found the sword. Chemo won because he didn't get the blacksmith sword, and so his master sword to get to that, to get to the mirror was in Thieves Town.
I see.
So, but really, I know Ruby and I had a question for early game plan from you.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I don't remember what that was.
After the Moon Pearl, you saved and quit out of Paradox.
You see, because the hint said Dark World, and I kind of forgot if the mountain was separate, to be
Okay,
honest.
that was our fear. To be completely honest with you, Zeke said, what if you forgot the mountain is Dark World? And I'm like, oh. I hope not.
I forget how Ambrosia's hints works. I haven't played Ambrosia in I don't know how long.
Let this
I'm
be
just like,
a,
oh yes, mountain, be separate. Let's just go straight Dark World. Look for
Yes.
boot.
as the last thing I may say tonight, as a PSA to anyone who may play Ambrosia in the future, if Uncle gives a hint for the Dark World, that means anywhere in the Dark World. He doesn't discriminate between Dark Death Mountain and the rest of the lower Dark World. It's all considered Dark World.
But I do believe Ruby is going to take his leave here.
Yeah, I'm going to go play some Mystery, but I'm going to give a shout out to these 4 runners again, and I'm going to say give them a follow. And if you don't give them a follow, I'll make you follow them myself. No, don't actually. I don't believe in force. But big shout outs to the 4 people that volunteered their streams tonight, and huge shout outs again to the 2 trackers that volunteered their eyes for us tonight. Maidwalk Herd, Lady Laura Linda. Thank you very much.
GLHF Ruby.
Thank you.
And thank you for agreeing to call this seed with me.
Oh yeah, this was Zeke's idea, and Professor Renderer rolled the seed. You can only imagine how that's going to go when the 2 of us are both in the same equation.
I mean, Chat can probably tell you, Ruby and I had fun with this. We usually do. I believe Lana's gotten to hear the 2 of us before.
I'm here for it all.
So yeah, good luck, Ruby. I'll ask some final questions and we'll wrap up. Oh, Bread. The other thing that Ruby and I want to call out.
What?
It's a standard seed, Bread. You already did Hyrule Castle.
Yeah, no. When I enter, I was like, ah, yes, autopilot to do front of escape.
That's right. I'm like, why are you doing the escape? You've already done the escape.
I go downstairs, I'm like, oh, wait a second.
Is he okay? Do I need to send help?
Maybe a little bit.
So, one question I had, did it cross your mind at all to continue diving through Turtle Rock when you found the fire rod, Bread?
Yes, and then I'm like, yeah, I'm sure it's fine. I'll come back with a mirror. That was basically my thought is, I'll come back with a mirror, maybe I'll have Ice Rod. I'd still need to do... Because... I was like, the boots probably aren't in here. I don't know, I just gambled the boots weren't in there. And that I'd come back later with the mirror, and I could at least hit, Mimic Cave along with it later. The fire rod was enough for me because that let me full clear out Mire and then put Pyramid Fairy in logic. Well, not really in logic because without lamp, but you know,
Right.
put Pyramid Fairy in play.
I forgot because you were the one player who didn't dive Eastern.
Yeah, I was looking for boots. Who needs Eastern?
Brad
One for
wins. Brad wins the collection rate war. GG.
Part of that is, Bread may or may not have full clear GT by having fun.
Yeah, let's start Tile Room. Why not? It's already over. Let's just go for it. Just do a whole loop around.
But unless any of you have any final thoughts you'd like to share, I think that'll do us.
Thank y'all for the restream. Thank you, as always, for commentating. You two, I'm sure, did a fantastic job. I'm going to watch some of this nonsense back. But Maidwalk Herd, Lady Laura Linda, thank you very much for tracking as well. Love y'all. Have a good night. GG's again.
And Lana, one day you and I gotta take over a booth.
I am down for that any day.
Yeah, one last time, GG's to all of our runners. Please follow them. Give a big shout out to Lady Laura Linda and Maidwalk Herd. And, yeah, if you want more randomizer content or speedrun content, keep your eyes on the Speed Gaming network of channels. There's stuff going on every day, isn't there?
What's that?
There's stuff going on Speed Gaming every day, isn't there?
Oh, absolutely. Speed Gaming 2, Speed Gaming 6, follow them all.
So, well, with that, I do think that does it for us. So I'd say from